Next up, participate in the conversation. All these are examples of people participating in the conversation one way or another, but there's some that stand out. Pringles has one of the largest corporate Facebook pages where they have a huge audience and they just encourage people to talk. What they like, what they don't like about Pringles, it doesn't matter. But there's an ongoing conversation. They're participating in the conversation. They're facilitating the conversation on their Facebook page. Right? How can you facilitate the conversation in your business? Participating in the conversation is really important, but there's a power position if you can facilitate the conversation as well. Right? Who built Dig? Who built Facebook? Who built Twitter? These are incredibly powerful people because they're facilitating the conversation. In the Barack Obama campaign, if you were a supporter in the United States or anywhere for that matter, you could create an account on his website. And if you created an account, you could actually start a blog on the Barack Obama website. And you could chronicle your campaign experience on a blog in the Barack Obama website, right? If you did that, by the time the election came, you would have been one of over 60,000 people. Seriously, think about this. 60,000 people blogging on the Barack Obama website. So that there's, what is Google value, right? In the algorithms that determine what websites rank high and what websites rank low. They rank, there's a whole bunch of things they consider, but one of the biggest things is the quantity of unique, relevant content on a website. The more, the better, right? So McCain's website had like 2,000 or 3,000 pages of content, right? Barack Obama's website had hundreds of thousands of pages, literally, of unique, relevant content because there were 60,000 people blogging on my.barackobama.com. So if you search for anything political during the campaign, what came up first? I mean, Barack Obama, it won hands down every time. It was no contest. So when it came to the online experience, the Barack Obama campaign completely dominated the campaign. And it's also where, you know, he raised a ton of money by facilitating the conversation. Twitter, Zappos. The people here in the room, particularly women, certainly are familiar with Zappos. A company that Tony, who's now the CEO, did not start. He was part of a venture firm. They solicited him because they were having trouble. They were in the red and they wanted help. And Tony joined the company along with a partner of his. And Zappos exploded because he's incredibly good at engaging the community. He did a lot of things, but he participated in the conversation. And one of the things he did was just share with the people some of the remarkable things that were happening at Zappos, like having an order come in from Antarctica. Right? Just fun stuff that people were like, wow, that's unbelievable. Gets them thinking about what it's like to run that business. And in 2000, his business had 1.6 million in sales. 2008 had $1 billion in sales. And Twitter is not the only thing he did. He did a lot of things. But Twitter was a major component. Participate in the conversation. There's a number of companies that do really well when it comes to participating in the dialogue. One's Whole Foods, which talks about organic foods, premium foods, eating raw. They do an excellent job of participating in that conversation. And one of my favorites is JetBlue, that literally has a staff people on staff that search Twitter every day for people who are searching or tweeting the word Southwest, and United, and American, Delta, Northwest. And in particular, they look for people who are saying not nice things about those competitors. And what does it give them the opportunity to do? Right? JetBlue can reply in real time to people who need their services at the precise moment that they're pissed off with the competition. There's a company that I mentioned yesterday to those of you who are here that I've worked with about a year ago. She has a tiny little flower store, literally tiny. I mean, it's like less than 10 feet wide storefront, flower store. And we set up a local Twitter audience for her in the local community. And she searches for people in her community who are tweeting the word congratulations and the word wedding and the word baby. And where appropriate, she replies to those people and says, congratulations from us as well. Come on in and get a free flower from us. And most people don't do it, but some do. And more than half of them buy something when they're there. Right? She's using Twitter to find customers by engaging people who are having a conversation online about her business, which is celebration. right? And weddings and whatever it is that she does. So what words can you search for your own business to engage? You can @reply anybody on Twitter. It's an important point. You can send an @reply to anyone, whether you're following them or they're following you or not. It doesn't matter. So you can search on Twitter for people who are tweeting about anything, and you can send them an @reply. There's millions of people on Twitter. So you can search for any word you want and engage with the people who are talking about your business. Scott Monte's with Ford. Ford is the only U.S. car company that did not take bailout money from the federal government. And they're not hitting it out of the park, but they're doing much better than the other two. So they have a Twitter account by this guy, Scott Monte. Note here that they did not use their logo as their image and their personality on Twitter. They're using a person, Scott Monte. Okay? Now look at this. This is an amazing graph. This is the activity on the far left. The activity, the number of tweets per day of Ford, Scott Monte. Okay? Right beside it is GM, and this is Chrysler. Okay? Almost nothing. Scott Monte is active on Twitter. Okay? He's participating in the conversation. And the number of blog posts that are referencing Ford are consistently higher than the other two. This is Chrysler, and this is General Motors at the bottom. So this implies, and again, this is not the only thing they're doing lots of different things, but it implies that the more active you are in the conversation, the more other people will talk about your brand in response to that. Just being active in the conversation. And the last one is one we talked about yesterday, which I love. It's the story of a Canadian band, right, flying via United Airways to a gig down in the States somewhere. And as the story goes, the baggage handlers were being unbelievably rough with the bags. And it's all chronicled online. You can see it all. You can look, apparently they were looking out the window and literally seeing these guys like throwing suitcases around. And as it turns out, they busted the guy's $3,500 Taylor guitar. It's a pretty expensive guitar. They broke it. And you can imagine what ensued, right? The phone calls back and forth, and no, you got to write a letter, and this isn't the right department, you got to call this person, that person. This went on for a year. Went on for 12 months. And finally, at the end of the whole thing, they said, we're not liable. You're on your own. We can't do anything about it. So Buddy writes a song about it called United Breaks Guitars. And again, I highly encourage you guys to go to YouTube and find it and listen to it for yourselves and watch it. He got into the conversation. He expressed his frustration, at the same time demonstrating his expertise in the public domain. This was a public relations disaster for United. And meanwhile, it was the best thing in this guy's career. If you just think about him as a business, as an artist, which is a business, it was the best thing he ever did. Now he's like a little celebrity. Everywhere he goes, they're saying, can you play the United Breaks Guitar song? Because it's become something that was captured online and got an audience. Participate in the conversation. That engagement leads to inclusion, and inclusion leads to loyalty. When you participate, when you engage in your community, you're engaging those people. They feel like they're included. And when they feel like they're included, that's what leads to loyalty.